This is Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank on the Voice of Indiana County, WCCS, 101.1 FM and AM 1160. And it's time for another interview segment presented by Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. With things getting back to normal, many people are considering about going back to the office. Do they need to? And do they have a lot of anxiety over it? Well, many people do. Joining us on the phone today is a psychologist and the author of The Heart Brain, Dr. Catherine Athans. And Doctor, it is great to have you with us here this morning on Indiana in the Morning.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be with everyone. And yes, wow, going back to the office, what a thought, huh?
Yeah, I mean, that hasn't been that big of an issue because with us here in the radio station, we've actually still been coming into the office during the pandemic, but we've been putting in a lot of guidelines in place. But now that it looks like we're turning the corner and a lot of the other businesses are getting back to normal, I imagine that a lot of people who have been working from home over the past year or so probably have a little bit of anxiety coming back into it because it's now a change of routine once again.
Absolutely, and don't forget there's an average of weight gain of 18 pounds, so, that zipper doesn't zip up, and for women, I imagine men as well, they don't particularly want anyone to see how much weight they've gained and what they look like and don't want to go out and buy a whole new wardrobe. And people have gotten used to being at home now. It's a strange thing. As much as people missed being at the office, now people don't want to go back to the office.
Mm-hmm. So they're thinking about all those negatives that they don't miss at the office, probably like the office drama, or as you said, people probably looking at them and judging them on how they look or what has happened to them during the pandemic, or even the simple issue of if they're vaccinated or not.
Exactly. There's so many issues that people are dealing with and really don't want to deal with, and they found that working at home actually affords them a kind of freedom because they can set their own pace and have lunch with their kids or go to the school for a meeting that needs to happen if the kids are going back to school, all of those things. So it's a very interesting thing that's happening. People are negotiating with their bosses saying, well, maybe I'll come back once a week or maybe not. And I know the goal was to get everyone back by the end of September, but places like Facebook said no, not till 2022, and some other places are going, no, we're going to let everyone work at home with just maybe once a month meeting at the office.
So it sounds like that it's been a mixture of things, people saying, hey, let's get back in, or people saying, nah, let's hold off on this a little bit. But let's say, for example, that people are nervous about going back in and the boss says, we need you in here. So what are some things that people can do to kind of mitigate their nerves on this?
Well, first of all, remember that you were functioning well when you left the office. Try to remember that you were doing okay. That's really helpful. And remember that nobody is doing that great right now. So it's not like you're going to go there and be the only one that may have forgotten things, because after a year and a half, a lot of people have. And no one is going to judge you on how you look because everybody gained weight, so it's okay. And take it slow. I tell people, take it slowly. Imagine that, you're going to go, you're just getting acquainted the first day. No one's going to expect that you're going to superpower it the first day. You're going to get back into the swing of things. And try to get up, take breaks. I like people to take a break for 5 minutes every hour, just to have a drink of water, walk around, ground yourself, focus yourself. I think it's going to be very different because in an office, people stop by your desk and talk to you, or you may not have liked your neighbor, but take it slow and understand everyone is in the same boat as you.
We're talking with Dr. Catherine Athans, the author of The Heart Brain, psychologist, Going back to the office and being freaked out about it is our topic. Let's talk about it now from the family perspective. I mean, obviously, the kids in the family or your significant other may be a little bit nervous too about you going back to the office. So I imagine this would be a good time then to start having those tough discussions.
Absolutely. Talk to your kids. There's going to be separation anxiety. There's going to be some PTSD. The kids have gotten used to you being there. They're going to feel deserted again, abandoned, could feel anything. What you said is key. Talk to your kids. Explain what's going on. Try to work out some things. Get their opinion on how they feel. I talked to one woman who said, "Oh, kids don't have any feelings." I said, "Oh my God."
Wow.
Yes, they do. It's, what's happened to the children could last them a lifetime of trauma. We have to talk to them. We have to understand that it was hardest for them.
Mm-hmm.
And then to have mom there and then to have mom and or dad pulled away again, that's a difficult situation to adjust and readjust.
Mm-hmm.
It does require talking and maybe some role playing and see what you can do.
What are some of the other things that people might be thinking about? Let me ask you this. Is shaking up the daily routine, in the end, is it going to be beneficial for one's mental health?
Well, it depends on what you're shaking it up with, because people like routine. Routine brings security. People need security. They need to feel secure. And if the routine gets shaken up too much, people are going to feel insecure and vulnerable, and those things are lead to people acting out in some strange ways. We've seen that on the airplanes where I guess I heard the statistic that this year 4,000 people went berserk on the airplane and started attacking the flight attendant.
Wow. That's
so
amazing.
This pandemic lockup has had severe effects on people's mental health.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And I would imagine that you would also get people who kind of now, because of the fact that they have been sheltered in, they're kind of exhibiting hermit tendencies, like, I really don't want to go out there.
Yes. One person told a joke where the wife said to the husband, "Even when we make love, I'm wearing my mask, honey."
Oh, geez.
I've had people tell me, "Why should I leave the house? Everything can be delivered to me. I have my computer. If the computer man, if something happens, I can be on the other side of the house and he or she can fix it. I don't want to go anywhere." And we have had that, where there's a great deal of fear going back into the public because the body wasn't used to it.
Well, definitely, again, I guess the best advice is to just kind of take it slow, do it little by little then, and you work yourself back up into your normal routine before the pandemic hit.
Well, I think we'll never go back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll always have some residual fallout. But what I'd say to people is take it slow, as you've said, and don't expect too much of yourself or of anyone else around you. Understand everyone is readjusting, and when we readjust, we tend to get cranky as humans. So don't take crankiness personally. It's not. It's people feeling insecure and not comfortable. Take it slow, see how you do. Maybe you think you're going to go gung-ho into the office, and you go there and you find, I have to go home early because way too much stimulation. That's okay. Try to be honest with yourself, your kids, your family, your boss, and take it slowly. Understand you may need to go for a few sessions of EMDR or TIR or TFT, which are trauma relieving therapies.
Okay.
Might have to go for a few sessions of those because it's very traumatic what's happened for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, from the time that Governor Cuomo was talking about the number of deaths every day and seeing those big trucks and thinking about that, that's traumatic. That's horrible. To now we're supposed to be lively and gay. No, we're not.
We're not there yet.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I tell you, and that's the other thing that I think is important too. People shouldn't be afraid to seek out professional help if they need it.
I'm biased, obviously, but
right.
I believe don't be afraid. Reach out to your local hospital, local community health center, local social services. A lot of people are getting trained in some of these techniques to reduce trauma. So there are many, many ways you can get help that isn't expensive. And, and just sometimes just 3 or 4 sessions should do the trick where you feel released and relieved. If it lasts longer than that, I advise you to get some good long-term help and to understand that there's some other things that are coming out besides the effects of the pandemic. Maybe the pandemic brought it out.
Yeah. All right. Well, Dr. Athans, we are just about out of time, but I did want to say thank you very much for joining us today here on Indiana in the Morning to talk about this important topic, and I wish you all the best. Thanks again for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure, and the best to you and all your listeners. We only wish everyone well. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.